In the future, the sun loses its activity because its core dies due to exotic particles that interfere with nuclear fusion. As a result, Earth freezes, and humanity stands on the brink of extinction. To save the planet, humans launch a spaceship called Icarus I, carrying a massive fusion bomb. The mission is to reignite the sun by detonating the bomb at its core. However, Icarus I fails and loses contact. 7 years later, a second spacecraft, Icarus II, is launched, carrying the last remaining bomb to reignite the sun. This ship is equipped with an ultra-thick shield to protect its crew and cargo from the intense heat of solar storms. On board, a doctor named Searle tries to view the sun directly through a heat-filtered window. He feels immense joy from the sun's intense light, even though the filter is only open to 3%. Searle later shares the experience with the crew, describing it as bathing in sunlight. Captain Kaneda then informs the crew that they are entering a solar storm zone. He explains that direct exposure to sunlight will burn them instantly. He instructs everyone to contact their families on Earth, as communication systems will soon go offline. A physicist named Kappa takes his turn to record a final message to Earth. Meanwhile, in the oxygen garden, botanist Corazon tends to the plants. An incident breaks out in the communication room. A systems engineer named Mace becomes angry because Kappa takes too long recording his message. As a result, Mace loses his chance to send a message to his family before the systems shut down.
We have an excess of manliness breaking out in the comms center.
Mace is then sent to consult with Dr. Searle. Searle advises him to stay calm, reminding him that they've been on this journey for 18 months and cannot afford to let small conflicts jeopardize the mission. He encourages Mace to relax in the simulation room, where he can watch calming ocean waves.
Dr. Searle's prescription specifies a peaceful module.
The waves make me feel peaceful. Begin.
Afterward, Mace goes to the oxygen room and sincerely apologizes to Kappa.
Mace, I'm sorry. I should have let you go first.
Kappa, it's me. I'm the one apologizing, all right?
In his quarters, Captain Kaneda reviews the final log recorded by Icarus I's captain, Pinbacker. He is curious why their mission failed, especially since the footage shows everything appearing normal. In the cockpit, the pilot, Cassie, informs the crew that they're about to witness Mercury pass in front of the sun. Everyone gathers in the observation room, mesmerized by the rare and breathtaking view. A few hours later, Communications Officer Harvey picks up a strange signal. He quickly gathers the crew and explains that he's receiving a transmission from Icarus I. Coincidentally, the iron within the planet Mercury strengthens the signal and acts like an antenna. A signal from Icarus I comes from a region near Mercury's orbit, indicating that the ship is nearing a strategic position to carry out its mission. Icarus II and Icarus I are on closely aligned paths at the time, allowing the crew of Icarus II to detect the signal. Navigator Trey suggests adjusting their course slightly to check on Icarus I. However, Mace strongly objects. He says it's too dangerous and could jeopardize the mission. If they fail, the sun won't shine again, and humanity will perish. Searle shares his opinion. He points out that the bomb they carry is based on theory and might not work. If Icarus I still has an intact bomb, carrying 2 bombs increases their chances of success. Captain Kaneda asks Kappa to calculate the odds. Kappa runs a simulation, and all scenarios show less than a 40% success rate due to rocket velocity and solar gravity. He also stresses that the bomb they carry is the last one. Earth no longer has the resources to build another. In the end, they decide to approach Icarus I, reasoning that 2 bombs are better than 1. The ship then begins to divert from its primary course toward the sun in order to approach Icarus I's detected position nearby. But while the crew rests, strong vibrations suddenly shake the ship. Trey panics. Despite his precise calculations, the angle of approach to the sun increases, damaging several radiation shield panels.
You didn't reset the shields to the new angle.
I fucked up! The fact is, we are still alive.
Captain Kaneda and Kappa prepare to exit the ship and repair the damaged panels. Meanwhile, Cassie and Mace adjust the shield's angle to prevent direct sunlight from hitting the exposed area. Kaneda and Kappa hurry to the damaged shield section. After they tilt the shield, one of the communication towers catches fire due to solar radiation. Outside the ship, they discover 4 damaged shield panels and begin repairing them one by one. However, sparks from the tower, ignited by sunlight, spread to the oxygen garden and cause all the plants to explode. As a result, the ship's computer automatically overrides manual control and reorients the shield directly toward the sun. Cassie urgently calls Kaneda and Kappa back to avoid getting burned. Kaneda orders Kappa to return, choosing to complete the shield repair himself. Kappa initially refuses, but ultimately obeys. When Kappa is at the backside of the shield, sunlight hits the entire surface, causing Kaneda, who has successfully repaired all the panels, to burn to death from the exposure. Inside the ship, Dr. Cyril sedates Trey, who is overwhelmed with guilt because his mistake led to Captain Kaneda's death. The rest of the crew fears Trey might harm himself. Harvey now becomes the acting captain. He tells everyone the oxygen supply isn't enough because the oxygen garden was destroyed by fire. Their only hope now is to approach Icarus I, hoping its oxygen garden still works and the ship is still functional. In the corridor, Corazon tells Cassie and Mace that the oxygen remaining is only enough for 4 people to complete the mission. But currently, there are 7 of them. Meanwhile, Kappa enters the payload room where the bomb is stored. He prepares everything, knowing he's the only one who can deploy it. He strongly hopes the bomb will restore sunlight to Earth and bring warmth back to humanity.
I think it'll be beautiful.
Shortly after, Icarus II begins to move toward Icarus I, which turns out to still be intact. Once the 2 ships' shields align, they detach the main body of Icarus II and connect it to Icarus I. After a successful dock, Kappa, Cyril, Mace, and Harvey enter Icarus I. Inside, oxygen is abundant, but everything is covered in dust. The crew splits up to explore. Harvey finds that all the plants on board are still thriving. In the cockpit, Mace discovers the final log of Captain Pinbacker, who says he canceled the mission after speaking with the sun. He believes the sun intends to wipe out humanity, and he refuses to defy God's will. In the payload room, Kappa finds Icarus I's bomb still intact. But in the server room, Mace realizes the cooling system is damaged. The ship can't fly anymore. It looks like someone sabotaged it on purpose. In the observation room, Cyril is shocked to find that the entire crew of Icarus I has committed suicide, burning themselves by staring at the sun without a filter. Suddenly, a huge explosion separates the 2 ships. Someone has detonated the connecting corridor. The crew panics and rushes to the airlock. There, Mace finds only one spacesuit. He tells Kappa to wear it and get back to Icarus II. But Harvey disagrees. He wants to take the suit and promises to help the others once he's safely on board. Cyril explains that only Kappa can operate the bomb. Harvey insists, but Mace comes up with an idea: wrap themselves in insulation from the ship and hold each other close to survive the jump. However, someone needs to manually open the hatch since Icarus I's systems are down. Cyril volunteers, opening it from the inside and sacrificing himself in the process. After the hatch opens, Kappa, Mace, and Harvey are sucked into space. Unfortunately, Harvey is knocked off course and drifts away from the Icarus II airlock. Kappa and Mace make it back safely, but Harvey runs out of oxygen and freezes to death in space. His body disintegrates under solar radiation. Meanwhile, back on Icarus I, Cyril walks into the observation room and burns himself alive by staring directly into the unfiltered sunlight. Aboard Icarus II, Kappa, Mace, Cassie, and Corazon gather to talk. They're confused about who blew up the connecting corridor. Mace suspects Trey, who is still deeply depressed. They realize only 4 people are needed to complete the mission. Their humanity is put to the test. Mace considers killing Trey, but Cassie can't bring herself to let it happen. Still, Mace heads to the medbay. When he gets there, Mace is shocked to find that Trey has already taken his own life. The crew mourns his loss. As the ship approaches the sun, Kappa is preparing the payload when the computer alerts him. There are 5 people aboard, but there should only be 4. Who is the 5th? Kappa rushes to the observation room and sees Pinbacker, his body burned and scarred, standing in the sunlight. It's revealed that Pinbacker is the one who destroyed the corridor. He attacks Kappa, slashing his chest. Kappa escapes into the ventilation shaft, but Pinbacker locks him inside from the outside. Pinbacker then enters the engine room and begins pulling the servers out of the cooling tank. In the oxygen garden, Corazon, who is tending to the plant sprouts, is stabbed from behind by Pinbacker and dies. Kappa, bleeding, tries to call for help, but no one hears him. The lights go out as the systems fail. Cassie wakes up, sees Pinbacker, and runs. In the cockpit, Mace activates the backup power and spots Kappa's location on the CCTV. He contacts Kappa, who warns him that Pinbacker is trying to sabotage the mission. Mace dives into the coolant tank to reinsert the servers manually, but his leg gets stuck. The system fails to restart, meaning the payload must now be released manually. Mace informs Kappa through the comms before freezing to death. Wearing a spacesuit and equipped with a welding torch, Kappa blasts through the ventilation door and opens the outer hatch. The sudden decompression blows objects out of the ship. Once things stabilize, he makes his way to the payload bay. There, he finds Mace's frozen body and manually detaches the payload, jumping aboard it just in time. The payload begins its descent toward the sun. From a distance, Kappa watches the ship explode under intense solar radiation. He enters the payload chamber and finds Cassie sitting weakly inside. Suddenly, Pinbacker appears and attacks Kappa, trying to drag him into the abyss. With Cassie's help, Kappa breaks free but slips. Fortunately, the strange gravity near the sun keeps them from falling. Kappa pulls himself up and enters the detonator chamber. He activates the bomb just as it reaches the sun's surface. For a moment, time seems to stop. Kappa stares at the massive wall of solar fire just inches from his face. Back on Earth, Kappa's wife and children watch his final message. They're overwhelmed with emotion as the sun finally shines bright again, proof that the mission is a success.